about rubrics. So, the first question that comes in mind is, what is a rubric? Now, when you evaluate your students on the basis of the submission they have made, we all have some set of parameters in our mind. So, it's just like when you taste a dish, then there are a set of things that we use to judge that dish on. Does it have the right combination of spices? Is it properly cooked? Has it been properly garnished? And up to what extent it is good? In a similar manner, when let's say you judge an essay, there are several things that you take into consideration. With Google Classroom and the facility of rubrics, it is very easy to create a formative assessment for the students, which involves performance as well as feedback. So before the student submits the assignment, the student will have the rubric in front of him. So he will know that this is my scorecard and these are the aspects on which I will be judged. Accordingly, he will try to make his submission. Also, once you are grading, you can just evaluate on the basis of those parameters and accordingly give the marks to the student. And finally, when the student receives the score, he or she will know that this is what I scored on individual parameters. So now let's start. What we are going to do is, first of all, we create a simple assignment. So let's go to the classwork section. In classwork, create assignment. So now I'm going to give it a name. So let's say this is assignment 1, and I'm just going to write the topic of the assignment also right here instead of attaching a file, which you can easily do with the add option. But of course, my focus would be on the use of rubrics. So let's say my question is, what is the impact of MOOCs on Indian education system? So this is my question. Here, of course, I can provide some instructions. And now I'm going to make it carry 20 marks. Of course, I can give a due date. So let me assign a due date as a third, and let it not belong to any topic. But now my focus would be creation of the rubric. So for creating the rubric, this is the button that we have to go to. So this is rubrics here. Now, once you click here, you will get three options. Number one, create rubric, in which case you will create a new rubric. Reuse rubric, in which case you will be able to reuse a rubric that you have already created. And finally, import from sheets, which is when you have exported your rubric to a sheet, then you can import the rubric from that sheet. Now, in this particular case, first of all, we are going to select create rubric. So now this is the rubric that I have. This is my question. And when you open this, the interface that you get will have two fields to fill in. The first is the criterion field, and the second is the level field. Now, talking about criterion, so this is the parameter on the basis of which you are going to judge the student. And talking about the level, this is to what level that student has scored or has reached or has excelled in that criteria. So now we're going to start creating our first rubric.